Hey everybody, this is Dave Blair, the SimPit Crew channel, and I haven't done Forza in a while, and it was a couple days ago I decided to jump back in. I wanted to try out, I've already tried out some of the new uh, features that they've put in, but yeah, I just decided to jump into a few races, and I remember having a conversation with Billy Strange about the physics and force feedback in Forza Motorsport 7. And since I've been playing iRacing and Race Room and a lot more of the Sims than I used to previously, I understand what he's talking about now. However, I found that it seems like C class and below, so the slower cars tend to handle better, or I guess it's not as pronounced, the flaws in this game. So this is a C class Subaru that I got here, and I decided to jump in and try out a few. But now if you go up to the higher level cars, such as well, here's an R class. Here's a couple examples. These cars, they tend to pivot on an axis that runs down through the top of the car. And if you've ever watched any Forza videos, especially like anything running, I would say S-Class or above, you know, your GT3 cars, and somebody's racing from the far back view or the chase cam, you can see the car pivot around this axis. Well, it's more pronounced in the faster cars than it is in the slower cars. And again, I feel like C-Class and below, and of course my favorite ones to race in here, if I go to, let's see, the Division and the classic street muscle cars, they're all C-Class cars. This is my favorite class to run. And again, just the way these cars feels right to me. Again, this is kind of my generation. I had a 1970 Ford Mustang, and driving these cars in Forza, they do feel right. Like you can totally control a drift in these cars. Again, to me, they feel right. But anything above C-Class, it doesn't tend to feel very good. And again, it doesn't feel like you're turning with the front tires as much as you're pivoting the car around the axis. So the other thing that Forza's been working on this game since it came out. This is April 30th that I'm making this video of 2019. So this game has been out, well, in the fall it'll be 2 years, but they've been constantly making improvements on the game, and I feel like it's come a long way. But what I think they've really done the best at is the collision model. Now you don't have the chaos that you normally had in the first corner, where you bump somebody and they just go flying all the way to the wall. So that's the best improvement that they've done so far. The other one is in the multiplayer. They're trying out their new. I don't know that they've implemented everything, but their race regulations here, if anything, it seems like they haven't really done a good job yet. Basically, all they've put in there is the track limits, and you get penalized some time. Again, I hope they make this great, but so far, all they've put in are the cut corner part, so that's not that great. The other thing is, here you have cosmetic modern off-roaders, but my favorite one are the simulation. And I also like the hoppers by car class. Again, I don't really like you get into a C class and you could have something like the Subaru that I'm running, or you could have muscle cars, or you could have hot hatches in there. I don't like that. I wish they would have gone back to the divisions that they created, but they caved on that right away. So, but yeah, here's the GT car. So, Anyway, we'll take a look at two of the races. Like I said, I jumped in and did a couple races here recently, so we'll take a look at that. Okay, so here's the first race I jumped into in Daytona. I don't remember my starting position, but it was an okay race for the first race. Okay, so I'm really rusty, but here we go, and I'm starting in last place just about. I got one guy behind me at this point. I think I started in 16th place. So you can see there's a little bit of chaos here, but it's not as bad as it used to be. Like even that guy that just slid across and into the traffic, I mean, he didn't even knock anybody off the track there. Before, that would have been a disaster. It would have taken out everybody in that corner. So somebody did get punted. You got a couple more off here, so it is still possible to drive somebody off the course. But again, it's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, look at all that chaos. That's just people not knowing how to drive, tell you the truth, more than it is, you know, getting punted off. So I'm running in 7th right here. Now this is the layout without the bus stop, so you know the guys up front have some the higher top speed cars, like that guy that just went past me. Again, I just jumped in this race. I picked this car, I downloaded a tune, and I downloaded a paint job. That's one of the other things I like about Forza, though, is like you can just go in and grab a car, you can download a paint that somebody else has made, which this one spoke to me, and everybody else can see the paint that you're running. Now, in iRacing, you can go to trading paints and you can get other people's paints, but it might not show up in somebody else's race if they don't have trading paints. So, in a way, Forza's really good about allowing creators to make paint jobs, and then you can use them in your race and everybody can see what you're running. The other thing that I like about Forza 2 is you can go to a leaderboard and you can grab somebody's tune. Like if you scroll down, I don't know, the top 10 and everybody's running the same tune, then you know that that's dominant tune for that track or and car combination. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So in a way that's good, you know you're getting a good tune, but in another way, you know, it's not so good because everyone's got the same tune. So if you're a talented tuner, maybe that's, you know, not good for you because you'd like to, you know, do better than others just based on your tuning ability. All right, let's skip this forward a little bit. I don't want to take too long. There's another guy just blasting past me. I think my top speed was like 156 miles an hour here. I'm in 9th at this point. Let's see. Yeah, this guy in the Audi's out front. But see, obviously this car is not meant for, he's built this car for top speed, not for handling, so he struggles on the corners and then he blows everyone away on the straightaway. Mazda Miata. And 3rd place is an Acura. So I am still in 9th. This is the view that I run. And the other thing too is I kind of like the way Race Room does their paint jobs, but you have to buy, you know, each paint scheme. And if you want to make your own, I don't think that they have that that ability. Same thing with Project Cars 2. They provide paint schemes for you, but there is also, you can import a paint scheme. I'm not sure if your imported paint scheme shows up for everybody else. You might just show up on everyone else's screen as a white car. I'm not sure how that works exactly, but so don't quote me on that. But as far as getting your paint into a game, I think, you know, Forza's done a great job there. And not to mention the number of cars that are available. Alright, so that race is done. Okay, so like I said though, I have haven't been playing Forza Motorsport 7 in a long time. I jumped in, did a couple races. The last race I started last, and then this would be my second race, so I should have better position here. Yeah, see, I started in third on this one. And this track should suit my this car a little better too. I think that's funny how that car is like putting off all that smoke. Yeah, you can see a little bit of chaos back there, but definitely a lot better than it used to be. So I'm currently in second. The guy in front is running. He's running the Subaru also. So it looks like I picked a good car for this track. But again, like I was saying, you know, the paint jobs in Forza are great. The car selection is almost too much. You know, I wish I didn't have so many SUVs and trucks and but then again, I like the concept of, you know, hey, let's take a Dodge Challenger and a Chevy Camaro and a Ford Mustang and take them out on the track and run them against each other, you know. And, you know, all the same equipped or same class limitations, I think makes for some good racing. But again, as you go, anything above C class, I feel like it doesn't feel as good as I thought it did before I started racing all these other sims that I've been racing on the PC. Yeah, so I'm having a hard time keeping up with the guy in front there. But I feel like I got a good hold on second position here. The replay cameras in here are pretty good too. And, you know, as long as you hook up an Xbox controller, it's pretty easy to, you know, figure out what you need to do to change the camera. And, you know, if you want to look at a different car, you can look at a different car. It's all super simple. I've been trying to do a few videos with iRacing lately, and it's like, nowhere did it tell you to hit the space bar to get rid of all the stuff around the screen so you could just have a clear image. So a lot of that stuff I'm still trying to figure out in iRacing. It's not very clear. Project Cars 2 has some pretty good replay features too. Although I found it easier, again, to plug in an Xbox controller, and it's just super easy from that point. Using the mouse and keyboard's a little trickier, but you can still pull up the controls. As far as car selection and graphics and track selection, I think, and people's paint jobs and people's tunes, the ease of putting them in is fantastic in Forza still. It's second to none. But I will concede to Billy Strange that the driving physics and force feedback, and there's something that doesn't feel right the faster your car gets. And again, anything above C-Class just doesn't feel right anymore. Now, I believe I finished this race in second, but the guy in third place really gets close. Again, I don't remember exactly where I finished, but second or third. The multiplayer in Forza Motorsport 7 is really good too. Again, you can, just jump in and usually find people to race with for as long as you want to stay in there. And there's always people in the hoppers. The only problem that I've come across is in the league racing. And in the league racing, they put you into these bands. And so the cleaner that you are and the higher that you place, you keep getting points, and then you'll get raised up a band. So I think I'm in the elite band or something, but as you get up higher in your bands, there's fewer and fewer people to race against. Because, as you do poorly, you don't raise up in the band. And if you don't raise up in the band, then you don't get promoted. So for people that do get promoted, there's fewer and fewer people to race against. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, it's been a while since I've raced in Forza Motorsport 7, and it'll probably be a while before I come back to it too. We'll have to see what they can do with their race regulations and, see if they can continue to make improvements to this game. But I think they're on the right track. There's a lot of things I wish they'd change, but we'll see what happens. But there's plenty of sims out there to choose from. And again, I've been mainly focused on iRacing lately. So I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching.